When it comes to casting an actor right out of drama school, just because you can does not necessarily mean that you should. Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my Stagey YouTube channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I'm obsessed with all things theatre. So last night, after multiple delays due to COVID absences within the cast, because we are currently living within a theatrical hellscape, I finally got to go and see the rescheduled press night of Moulin Rouge. This is a hugely anticipated new show for the West End and one that I know very little about. I've seen the film years ago and I enjoyed the film, but I don't remember it well enough, nor am I enough of a purist that I thought that was really going to be a big issue going into this show. More to the point, since it premiered on Broadway a few years ago, I have not listened to the Broadway cast recording, I have not watched any of the bootlegs or anything, so I was really excited to go and see this show. So today, I'm going to be letting you know what I thought of Moulin Rouge, what I thought of the West End cast, the entire theatre-going experience, but before I do, I was also gifted this free souvenir program that I'm going to be re-gifting to one of you. It's another Mickey Joe giveaway, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is to comment down below with hashtag Mickey Joe giveaway. Make sure that you've liked this video first and subscribed to my channel. We have all of the UK cast members' bios in here. We have some lovely rehearsal photos. We have information about the show. It's a lovely little souvenir, especially for die-hard fans of Moulin Rouge. If you want another chance to win that program, head over to my Instagram and Twitter accounts, both at Mickey Joe Theatre, for another chance to win by sharing posts on there. Now let's talk about the show. So first of all, I cannot tell you how overwhelmed I was by everything about the experience of walking into this theatre. The last time I was at the Piccadilly Theatre, it was covered in scaffolding, and I realised the only other show I've seen there before was Death of a Salesman with Wendell Pierce and Sharon D. Clarke a few years ago. The transformation that the exterior has had with the turning windmill and the big neon lighting and everything is red is so aesthetic, is so gorgeous. It is my favourite colour. Then when you get into the auditorium, oh my gosh, my jaw hit the floor walking into the stall, seeing all of the red velvet curtains around the outside, the lights, the glorious, glorious stage, how it comes out at the sides, how you have the elephant, how you have the windmill. I was completely in awe of the entire visual presentation. There's something so inherently theatrical about it. You know, I love a theatre that is just unashamedly draped in red velvet. Then the show itself began. I have to say, the first 10 minutes of this show are maybe the greatest first 10 minutes of any show currently playing on the West End. I was so completely awestruck and overwhelmed. It was just entertainment on top of entertainment, with cast and then more cast appearing, and the music and the drama and the extravagance of it all. It's really puts the extra in extravagance. The opening is just completely sensational. It gives you everything that you're expecting from the musical version of Moulin Rouge. It is giving you the club scene, it is giving you the cabaret, it is giving you can kick line, it is giving you explosions and pyrotechnics and lighting and gloriousness and just wow. There is such a wow factor in that first 10 minutes. The way it introduces characters is genius, and I kind of just wanted to stay in that club for the rest of the show. Sadly, like all the greatest nights out in Parisian nightclubs, that bit had to come to an end. The last time I was sitting here reviewing a show, I said I saw a 5-star cast perform a 3-star show. And if possible, this time, I think I saw a 3-star cast perform a 5-star show. Controversial statement. Let me explain. The casting for this had been so anticipated for months. I mean, thinking back to the film, I haven't seen it that many times, but even I find it hard to separate myself from the iconic and magnetic performances of Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman. They have such a star quality, they have such a brilliant chemistry with each other that it asks a lot of anyone else who's going to play those roles. I was very much looking forward to Lucy LaFontaine as Satine, having seen her in Dreamgirls, loved her as Dina, and I was looking forward to Jamie Boggio as Christian, because new drama school graduate, we love to see this. We love to see people being given opportunities. However, and I'm going to keep telling this joke because I thought of it right after the show ended and I think I'm hilarious. When it comes to casting an actor right out of drama school, just because you can does not necessarily mean that you should. The issue I have with the show is his performance as Christian. There's no non-harsh way to say that. I happen to think that he is completely miscast in this role. I am not denying that he is very talented. He sings in a very lovely, beautiful bel canto way, and he has a charming stage presence. If I was seeing him performing a supporting role in an off-West End musical, I'd be like, wow, that guy's going places. However, here he is starting at places and he is not giving me what I need. Not as a Christian, not as a leading man, not in any real capacity. The issues I have can be summarized thusly. 1, his voice was not nearly powerful enough to give me the big money notes that I needed, not in Come What May, not in Your Song, not in really any of his vocal moments. It's possible he was a little bit vocally fatigued on the performance I saw because he was sounding a little bit creaky in places, but then also potentially that's something that's going to happen when you're right out of drama school and you haven't yet spent years developing more of a vocal stamina. You know, he's young, he will absolutely get there, but is it really a fair position to put a new graduate in to catapult them into a leading role? It asks an awful lot of you. Also, he plays the whole thing kind of, I don't want to say dweeby, but there is a sort of awkwardness and a sort of nerdy charm to his Christian, so that when he gets all vengeful and darker towards the second act, it kind of comes out of nowhere. A bigger problem is just the lack of chemistry between the two of them as well, and that I think is quite one-sided. She is really trying to make you believe that she is in love with this man, and I buy that. And what I don't buy is his passionate love for her. I'm just not getting passion. I'm getting infatuation and sort of boyish glee, but it's not nearly big enough for the emotions that I expect from Moulin Rouge. This is epic romance, and there's just nothing epically romantic about it. A conversation could be had about style over substance, and I think that's definitely something that's happening here. Visually, I cannot fault it. Every single set piece when it came in was a wow. Every single costume was glorious and gorgeous. The overall star rating I would give for this is 4 stars, and that gets dragged up quite heavily by how great the production value is and the aesthetics and the entertainment value. For the plot, for the central performances, were everything not so shiny and beautiful and impressive, it would be a 3-star show. I did really like some of the performances. Lisi LaFontaine grew on me as Satine. I mean, she has some great material to work with. She looks stunning throughout. She... Accent. To call her accent mid-Atlantic would be an insult to the wreckage of the Titanic, because that at least started its life at some point in England. It's just slightly odd to have an English actor doing an American accent and then to have her as an American actor doing an English accent. And it was the R vowels every time. It was like dancing rather than dancing, and it just threw us out. It was very, no, I'm British, singing, dancing. Do I not sound British? This is how British people sound. Ah. There was a wild array of accents within the cast. I kept having to remind myself we were meant to be in Paris. And like not all of the characters were French, I appreciate that, but then there was such a strange mixture of English accents within the club dancers, where some of them were very clipped and very posh, and then others were like, oh no, Satine hasn't gone off with the Duke. What are we going to do? Which brings me to Clive Carter. Ever the showman, Clive Carter is just fantastic in this role. He's just such a reliable leader of a show. You know, he was the heart of Come From Away when he was in that show, and he just leads this so incredibly well as Harold Zidler. I enjoy his performance, I enjoy the darkness of it, I enjoy the sentimentality. It's interesting seeing him sort of exert authority over Satine and then exist as a peer to her for the rest of the show. It's a weird dynamic that's never really completely clarified or established. Simon Bailey is great as the Duke. He kind of gets a little bit undermined by some of the material he has. You know, he can't be really sinister because he occasionally has to perform like a bit of a pantomime villain. Jason Pennycook is quite stunning as Toulouse. I feel like he's introduced as one half of like a comedy sidekick duo, and then he becomes quite serious and has a lot of gravitas thereafter. I'll shout out the ensemble as well and the Moulin Rouge performers. They absolutely couldn't be faulted, and they gave just such a dynamic presentation. Really enjoyed it. Standout moments of the show. The first 10 minutes are inescapably thrilling. I kind of wish it had that same energy for the rest of the show. I'd go as far as say even the first 20 minutes I was really on board with, wow, this is a 5-star, amazing, incredible piece of entertainment. It just started to drift for me after that. But then it does get me back with the opening of Act 2. I wasn't sure what they were going for with the slightly soft opening where Christian's on stage speaking to the audience. But then when they launch into backstage romance that's mashed up with Toxic, that's mashed up with the Seven Nation Army randomly in a peak of heterosexual meets homosexual culture with incredible choreography, and the set pieces are absolutely stunning. It's just a visual feast constantly. You know, there's so much to look at and enjoy, and it does sound great. I just don't know if it holds the emotional connection you need. It depends what you're going to Moulin Rouge for. I think a great many tourists will be going and want to see the money they've paid for ticket prices reflected on stage. You absolutely see that. If you're going for a beautiful, affecting love story that's really deep and meaningful, I don't know if you will find that at the Piccadilly Theatre. I feel like I'm being brutally honest about it, but this is what people will want to know because there are a lot of people who have a strong emotional connection to the source material. I do want to talk a little bit about the score because the way that they mix songs together, completely inspired by what the film did by using modern pop songs and then recontextualizing them and rearranging and orchestrating them to sound more theatricalized, to sound more period. Genius. The Tango de Roxanne is still one of my favorite things ever. I just started to get a little bit peeved by some of the jokier insertions of songs. You know, I didn't mind some of the ones that are designed to make you laugh, but in particular, I'd fully lost it by the time that we were doing the big finale and they interrupted Lady Marmalade to start singing Hey Ya by Outkast that has been in my head ever since, and I resent that. I liked that Sia's Chandelier was in it, but I like that song, is the problem, which means great for Clive Carter to sing it, but I did want a woman to belt the chorus. Or really anyone other than Clive Carter to belt the chorus. It's possible they go a little bit overboard in the show. They're very much inspired by the Elephant Love medley thing in the film where they cycle through song after song after song after song. It gets a little bit old. The Elephant Love medley in the show, there's just so many songs and they're not nearly rapturous enough. When I got home from this, I watched the movie version of Elephant Love medley and I was like, oh, this is just so much better. I have issues with the staging of that number as well because I want the two of them to just embrace and be lost in each other's eyes, but what happens is they're playing it forwards and they're surrounded by ensemble and he gets given a jacket and an umbrella and then there's set pieces and there's stars everywhere, and it's a wow factor moment because it has to be because they're ending Act 1, but you lose something of the connection between the two of them, and when you don't have that connection between the two of them, the entire second act doesn't really matter. And I think that's why I lost emotional connection with the show, and when, without spoiling things too much, sad things happen, I didn't care much. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Didn't cry about it. Who would enjoy this show? I think it's going to be polarizing for fans of the film. It depends what you are going for. If you're going for a great night out in the West End with the family on a date night, if you like a glitzy, glamorous show, this is absolutely the show for you. This is West End, and when I think of what I want a West End musical to be, it has a capital W when it comes to Moulin Rouge, as in for West End, not for Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge? West End. The W is for West End. The production value, the energy, it's absolutely infectious. You're going to have a great night of entertainment at the theatre. And like I said before, if it's all about having that emotional connection and seeing a really great love story authentically and beautifully portrayed, I just don't know if this is the show for you. I would ordinarily say go see it for yourself, make up your own mind, but tickets are expensive and challenging to get. So maybe have a listen to the show, see how you feel about it, consider what I've said in this video. I hope that has maybe helped you make up your mind about Moulin Rouge and not further clouded the waters. I was there with some other reviewers, some of whom felt similarly to me, others of whom really, really loved it. So my opinion is absolutely not the only one going. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel for plenty more stagey content coming very soon about all of your favourite West End shows. Also, if you want to support me as a stagey content creator, head over to patreon.com/Mickey Jo Theatre, where I am posting loads of regular behind the scenes content, photos, videos, exclusive stuff. Head over there, check it out for yourselves. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Jo Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!